Cyber Threat Intelligence. Welcome to the weekly roundup of the top stories in cybersecurity and the best source of threat intelligence. For this week's news, we'll be discussing a cybercrime gang that has been observed deploying Black Cat ransomware. We'll then go on to discuss a critical severity vulnerability that was being actively exploited, and then a social engineering campaign that is targeting developers. Everything is timestamped down below, so feel free to skip ahead to specific sections. However, I do recommend sticking around for the entire video as this week's is a really good one. Right, going on to our first topic. A financially motivated cybercrime gang being tracked as Fin8 has been observed deploying Black Cat ransomware payloads on networks backdoored using a revamped sardonic malware version. This can apparently, according to researchers, be used to collect information, execute commands, and deploy additional malicious modules as DLL plugins. Now, just to give some background on the threat actor, they've been actively operating since at least January 2016, where they've been focusing on industries such as retail, restaurants, hospitality, healthcare, and entertainment. So yes, quite a lot of different industries. And then, most recently, they've shifted their focus from stealing payment card data to maximizing profits through ransomware attacks. And that's because in June 2021, they were spotted deploying Ragnar Locker ransomware on a financial services company's compromised systems. Then later in January 2022, White Rabbit ransomware was also linked to Fin8, and the sardonic backdoor played a role in these attacks. Then, in more recent developments, Symantec has spotted Fin8 hackers deploying Black Cat ransomware in December 2022 attacks. And what's concerning is their use of a revamped version of the sardonic backdoor, demonstrating now their dedication to refining their tools and tactics to focus primarily on avoiding detection. Black Cat ransomware is believed to be the first breed of ransomware as a service to be written in Rust, making it more easily customizable for diverse operating systems and enterprise environments. So you can see just how damaging that could be. So it looks like Fin8 has expanded from point of sale to ransomware attacks to focus primarily on maximizing profits. That covers everything there, so let's go on to our next topic, which is where a severe vulnerability was discovered in Citrix Netscaler ADC and Netscaler Gateway, and has already been observed to be actively exploited by malicious actors. Therefore, Citrix is urging all its customers to take immediate action. And can you guess what that is? Yes, patch. Apply the latest patches and make sure everything is up to date. If you need more information, the link is in the description and you can see exactly what actions they've taken. So, the vulnerability allows attackers to execute code remotely without authentication, and to make matters worse, if your vulnerable application is configured as a gateway or an authentication virtual server, you are at much higher risk. So you would definitely need to be reading these articles and seeing what you need to do to mitigate. Security researchers have since advised organizations should investigate potential compromises by looking for newer web shells than their last installation date. You should also pay attention to HTTP error logs and any unusual commands in the shell logs for any signs of initial exploitation. Even if you have patched, I would recommend that you go through this investigative procedure just to make sure everything is clear and there's no signs of compromise. And on top of this CVE that's come out, Citrix has also addressed two other high severity vulnerabilities which reflected cross-site scripting and privilege escalation. So if it's something that you use within your environment, definitely make sure you check this out. There is also lots of information on Twitter in terms of IP addresses that could be indicators of compromise. So plenty of information to go through if it's something that you need to look into. That covers that one. Let's move on to topic number 3, and we'll be talking about GitHub. So in the news this week for GitHub, they have issued a warning about a social engineering campaign conducted by the North Korean state-sponsored Lazarus hacking group. And just for a bit of background, if you've not heard of Lazarus before, they have a history of targeting cryptocurrency companies and conducting cyber espionage. But why are they in the news this week? Well, in the latest campaign that we've seen, the group is compromising legitimate accounts or even creating fake ones on GitHub and other social media platforms. These personas have been posing as developers and recruiters to initiate conversations with individuals in the targeted sectors. Then, after establishing trust, the actors have invited their targets to collaborate on a project and clone a GitHub repository related to media players and cryptocurrency trading tools. However, this is where it gets interesting. These legitimate projects contain malicious NPM dependencies, and these dependencies act as a first stage malware downloaders, connecting to remote sites to download additional payloads onto the infected devices. GitHub has since taken action by suspending all NPM and GitHub accounts associated with the campaign, and they have also published a comprehensive list of indicators, including domains, GitHub accounts, and NPM packages related to the attack. And they've also emphasized that none of their systems were compromised during the campaign. It's worth noting that the campaign is similar to a Lazarus campaign back in January 2021, when the threat actors targeted security researchers in social engineering attacks using elaborate fake security researcher social media personas to infect targets with malware. So one that you definitely need to keep an eye on, especially if you use GitHub or you're just interested in the activities of the Lazarus group. That then covers all the top topics for this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video just as much as you all did for last week's video. I did get a lot of positive feedback, so hopefully you all think the same. If you're interested, then please do join my Discord. The link is within the comment section and my description, where we talk about all things cybersecurity and you can ask any types of questions. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like. It massively helps it out and it shows me that you are enjoying this type of content.